Good evening, Cabalists. Since the dawning of time, man has recorded strange and unexplainable incidences, ones that boggle the mind. Today, on All Hallows Eve, we present to you a tale of science, and one man who takes that science one step too far, as written about by H.P. Lovecraft. Can your feeble minds stand the shocking truths presented in The Secret Cabal presents Tales from Beyond the Grave? Herbert West, Reanimator!
Oh, 6 feet is so much deeper than it sounds.
Stop whining and put your back into it. The more you complain, the longer we'll be here. I'd like to be out of this dank hole before dawn.
Yes, I certainly didn't see myself doing this on a Tuesday morning, particularly with classes in a few hours. Are you absolutely sure this is the proper plot?
Of course it is. Just this afternoon, I witnessed with my own eyes.
Wes, I've hit something. I think we found it.
Ah, yes. There it is. Use the crowbar to pry it open.
All right, of course.
Yes, like that. Careful not to damage the body in any way. Excellent work. Oh, yes. A perfect specimen. Young, excellent physical condition. I'd say no more than 20 years of age, wouldn't you say?
Yes, early 20s at least. His body looks perfectly fine. What did he die from?
The man was drowned only yesterday in Sumner's Pond and buried at the town's expense without delay or embalming. This is the absolutely perfect cadaver for our first trial on a human subject.
Yes, you can tell from his physique that he lived a relatively healthy lifestyle. Must have been a laborer of some sort.
He was. He most certainly served mankind better as a corpse than he ever could have in life.
Well, I certainly hope so. Well, let's get him up out of the hole and into the car. I think he'll do fine.
Yes. He'll do fine. Fine indeed.
Of Dr. Herbert West. I met the man in our 3rd year of course at the Miskatonic University Medical School in Arkham. While with me, the wonder and diabolism of his experiments fascinated me utterly, and I was his closest companion. West had already made himself notorious through his wild theories on the nature of death and the possibility of overcoming it artificially. His views, which were widely ridiculed by the faculty and his fellow students, hinged on the essentially mechanistic nature of life, and concerned means of operating the organic machinery of mankind by calculated chemical action after the failure of natural processes. Plainly put, we were trying to reanimate the dead. In his experiments with various animating solutions, he killed and treated immense numbers of rabbits, guinea pigs, cats, dogs, and even monkeys, until he had become the prime nuisance of the university. Several times he actually obtained signs of life in animals supposedly dead. Of course, many of them were violent signs. He soon saw that the perfection of the process, if indeed possible, would necessarily involve a lifetime of research. It likewise became clear that since the same solution never worked alike on different organic species, he would require human subjects for further and more specialized progress. It was here that he first came into conflict with the college authorities, and was disbarred from future experiments by no less a dignitary than the dean of the medical school himself, the learned and benevolent Dr. Allen J. Halsey. It was I who thought of the deserted Chapman farm beyond Meadow Hill for our remote and secluded laboratory, to where we travel now with this freshly dead laborer, who is to be our first human trial subject.
Male, 20 years of age, 211 pounds, 4 ounces, approximately 2 days and 6 hours since expiration. With this data, I can properly prepare the reagent. Position it on the dissecting table while I begin the process.
All right. Well, there you go, my fine fellow. You're ready for the process. I wonder what's going to go through your mind upon reanimation. Despite West's hard scientific beliefs and my doubts, I do have a lingering curiosity of what lies beyond death. Tell me, sir, what secrets would you relay to us of the afterlife?
You concern me with your nonsensical notion of souls and afterlives. The body laying before you is no more than a piece of meat, organic machinery that we are simply reactivating. The only secrets he can bestow upon us at his time while inactive are of blackness, a nothingness, void. In fact, I imagine that it would be more akin to the man blinking his eyes with the perception of no time passing at all.
Of course, West, yes. The science would certainly lead us to believe so.
The serum is ready, perfectly measured and portioned to this plebeian ogre's exact build and age. Please note the time, 2:14 a.m., Chapman Farm Laboratory. Dr. Herbert West administering 53.5 cc's of reagent to the Sumner Pond specimen. And it is done. (2:15 a.m.) No heartbeat detected. 2:16 a.m. No heartbeat detected.
For 30 long minutes, the two of us stood, waiting for a moment that would likely never come. We knew that the chances of a complete success were remote, but the pangs of failure were difficult for both of us to swallow back. It took us months of monitoring the papers and the morgue records to discover even this one specific perfect subject. There was no telling when another opportunity like this would surface again.
Damn it! I fear we were too late on this specimen. Come with me. Cellular deterioration must have begun within the brain. I'm not prepared to give up on this tonight. I've worked too hard for too long to just dispose of this cadaver now. I can salvage this experiment. I can reevaluate the solution and compensate for the levels of degradation. Go back in and start an intravenous line to flush the prior reagent while I begin the rebalancing. I believe...
West! Let's go! Run, West! Run! That way! Over the hill! Go! We ran. We leapt through the window and ran without slowing all the way across Meadow Hill and back into Arkham. We didn't separate, and we managed to get ourselves to West's room, where we whispered with the gas up until dawn. By then, we had calmed ourselves with rational theories and plans for investigation. We had agreed to sleep through the day, classes being disregarded, until we flipped on the radio.
April 12th, this is Howard Fishman with the news. Fire erupts in the outskirts of Arkham as the deserted Chapman farm beyond Meadow Hill has explicably burned to an amorphous heap of ash this morning. No evidence of victims have been discovered and no injuries were reported by the Arkham Hospital Administration. Fire Chief Welsby had this to say.
We got a call this morning, on about 3:30. By the time we got there, there wasn't much we could do about it. We put out the last of the flames and picked through the ashes, but there wasn't anything or anybody in there. I'm going to venture a guess that.
Dear God, West, no remains discovered.
Yes, no remains. This waiting is abominable. The old fool is doing this on purpose, making us wait like this.
Patience, West. We're not the only thing on Dean Halsey's mind. I dare think we're even the furthest thing from it. He has an entire medical college to run, you know?
Yes, but why even take appointments if you plan on allowing us to sit for 30 additional minutes beyond our appointed time? It's a waste of my time. It's a show of disrespect, and I cannot abide it.
Do you really feel that the third time will be the charm?
There's no charms or fortune or anything of the sort at play here, just science, reason, and cold, hard, undeniable logic. And I believe I can make him see it that way this time.
I honestly don't know how long we'll even be at Miskatonic, what with the typhoid outbreak in Arkham. You heard there's talk of suspending classes.
Yes, I've heard. One more obstacle standing in my way.
Gentlemen, the Dean will see you now.
Finally.
Right this way. Before you go...
Yes, Marianne, what can I do for you?
Can I ask you why you insist on working with Mr. West so closely? You know that Dean Halsey thinks so very highly of you, and truly believes that you have a bright future ahead of you as a talented medical practitioner. But your association with West isn't doing you any favors.
I know West doesn't have the most respected reputation on campus.
You can say that again.
Yes, but you just haven't seen what I've seen. His theories, though unorthodox, are frighteningly sound. I have seen reanimation of the dead with my own eyes. His work is fascinating, and if we can prove success, it would be an unprecedented scientific discovery. And I want to be part of that.
Just please, be careful.
You know me. I always am.
Well, I suppose I better get that. Good luck to you.
Have a seat, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Halsey. I appreciate you seeing us.
Dr. Halsey, I have a matter that I'd like to discuss with you regarding my research.
Mr. West, let me stop you right there. I feel we're about to have the same conversation yet again regarding your use of university facilities for your demonic experiments.
Yes, and we believe that we may have...
And I have no intention of lifting the disbarment of performance of these experiments on campus.
Dr. Halsey, please. Allow me to relay to you the success we've seen thus far. We've performed numerous tests on laboratory animals, all of which have been restored to life by means of my reagent. I have detailed notes right here that show that the reagent...
There is no evidence to prove that these successes of yours are not erroneous. The animals were simply not dead to begin with, West. Can't you see that what you're doing here is tantamount to torture of these wretched creatures? It is nothing short of immoral behavior, bordering on criminal behavior.
Your attitude towards the advancement of science and growing beyond our currently infantile views on the state of life and death is simply disgraceful. You call yourself a man of science? You lead a university, a place whose purpose is for the learned to promote the shaping of the minds of tomorrow's greatest medical practitioners, and yet you sit idly by as new and grand ideas pass you by!
Insult me all you like, Mr. West. I know you're a great doctor in the making. I see your capabilities, and it's the only reason I have not expelled you outright, and the reason I accepted this appointment in the first place.
Please, gentlemen, there's no need for raised voices. It seems we're never going to see eye to eye on this matter. Come, West, let's see ourselves out. Thank you, Dr. Halsey.
And as you would expect, my colleague and Dr. Halsey never did see eye to eye on the matter. In only a few short months, West and I graduated, and it was about the same time the plague broke with full demoniac fury upon the town. Though yet not licensed physicians, we had our degrees, and we were pressed frantically into public service as the number of the stricken grew. The situation was almost past management, and deaths ensued too frequently for the local undertakers to fully handle. Burials without embalming were made in rapid succession, and even the Christchurch Cemetery receiving tomb was crammed with coffins of the unembalmed dead. This circumstance was not without effect on West, who thought often of the irony of the situation. So many fresh specimens, yet none of them for his persecuted researches. We were frightfully overworked, and the terrific mental and nervous strain made my friend brood morbidly. Dr. Halsey in particular had distinguished himself in sacrificing service, applying his extreme skill with wholehearted energy to cases which many others shunned because of danger or apparent hopelessness. Before a month was over, the fearless dean had become a popular hero, though he seemed unconscious of his fame as he struggled to keep from collapsing from physical fatigue and nervous exhaustion. West could not withhold admiration for the fortitude of his foe, but because of this was even more determined to prove to him the truth of his amazing doctrines. The peak of the epidemic was in August, and work and stress were so great that West and I were almost dead. And Dr. Halsey did die on the 14th. The aging dean died of typhoid himself. His tireless work and refusal to tend to his own ailments were the cause of his demise. A hasty funeral was held, and all faculty and students still present in Arkham attended to mourn the passing of this beloved and stalwart man of medicine.
Gentlemen, a toast to Dr. Alan Halsey. He was a fine man, fine doctor, fine educator, and a titan among men. We raise our glasses to your tireless service to the community, faculty, and family, because though your time in this world has come to a close, it appears that your bar tab remains open. So, this round's on you, Dr. Halsey. Cheers!
To Dr. Alan Halsey!
May he rest in peace.
A fine toast. Can I get you two another drink?
Nothing for me, thank you.
I'm still nursing this one. Herbert, I'm surprised that you're so glum. I didn't think that you would be so affected by the death of Dr. Halsey.
Nah, he's just disappointed that the old bird died before we could change his mind about our research.
That's not true. I'm not a monster devoid of sympathies. Though it's true that it was a goal of mine to prove my theories to Halsey, I'm not a demon. Halsey was a fine doctor, and despite our differences and his supreme lack of innovative thinking, I held a lot of respect for the man.
I know. I was just joking with you, West.
I'm not in a joking mood. It's been too long since I've worked on a trial subject. I'm allowing precious time to slip away. There's nothing standing in my way that cannot be overcome. Why not tonight?
Really, tonight, West? Have you thought about the 100 or more patients at Miskatonic that we have to deal with in the morning? And if you haven't noticed, we're down a man. We'll have to redouble our efforts just to keep up.
They'll all still be there in the morning when we arrive. Come on, let's make a night of it.
And what a night it would be. The Chapman Farm laboratory had burned. The facilities at Miskatonic were filled with plague patients, making it impossible. We had to improvise in the form of using West's apartment as our research lab. West lives on the second floor of a 2-story building with 4 rooms, 3 of which are rented to medical students, and the 4th housed the landlord and his wife. After procuring our next human trial subject, we proceeded there with our precious package in tow. Come on, West, I'm not going to do it all myself. Grab him under the arms.
Frank, what's that noise?
What's the hour?
It's 11 o'clock. There's something going on in the stairwell. It could be a prowler. Go find out what it is.
11 o'clock? What the hell could be going on at 11 o'clock? All right, let me just get on my slippers.
Oh no, someone's coming. West!
West! What the hell is going on out here?
Well, Mr. Mulligan,
Do you know it's 11 o'clock? What's wrong with that fella?
Well, Mr. Mulligan,
Allow me, Herbert. Well, you see, Mr. Mulligan, we attended Dr. Alan Halsey's funeral services tonight, and afterwards a few of us went for a few drinks. As you can see, our friend here had one too many, and us not knowing where he resides, we decided to bring him back here to sleep it off. We'll keep it down, you have my word.
You better, you whippersnapper! See that you do!
quick thinking. Let's get this thing upstairs and into my room quickly.
After that close call, West and I took greater care to get the body into the room and on the cot without creating any further disturbance. He then admitted to me that though overworked with the plague, he had continued his research alone in the wee hours, perfecting the reagent. He believes that now, with this new concentrated concoction, the age, size, and build of the subject were no longer a factor. He had a large vial of the reagent already mixed and prepared. It was clear to me that he had been ready for this moment to strike. And after so many months without regular experimentation, he had seemed to become a bit more reckless. It concerned me greatly carrying out the proceedings in a bedroom on a foldaway cot with so many others sleeping mere feet away from us. But despite my warnings, West drew the reagent into the syringe and administered it to the corpse.
There. Should be the exact amount. Now all we have to do is wait for the reagent to take hold and...
West, look! The hand is moving. You can see eye moving.
Yes.
Oh, God. It's positively ghoulish, West. I don't think we should...
West! What's going on in there?
Oh, break it down, Frank! Break it down! Kick it in!
Oh my God!
What is it, Frank?
We interrupt this broadcast for a WHPL News Bulletin. Horror strikes Arkham as an unknown maniac rampages the streets, terrorizing locals. At this time, Arkham police report 6 separate attacks, leaving 9 dead and only 2 survivors. Hospital officials report that bodies brought to the morgue have shown evidence of being partially devoured by their murderer. The authorities have asked us to recommend that citizens of Arkham remain inside their homes with their doors and windows locked as the police dragnet the city. Stay tuned to this station for more news and updates on this horrifying story.
Frank, dinner's nearly ready. Can you take the trash out for the curb?
Yeah, in a second. I'm reading the paper.
No, it's now. You gotta go now. It's smellier than your bottom after working in the yard.
Oh, you're one to talk about smelly odors.
It's making my nose hairs want to fall out.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Make sure that you put the lid on the can. The cats have been getting into them.
Of course, I'll get to it right now.
Frank, what's going on? Frank!
There he is, men! We got him! Halt! In the name of the police! Stay away from him, you fiend! Put your hands in the air and get down on the ground! Get down! I say get down! Fire!
As you may have guessed, the only 2 survivors of the marauding beast were West and I, and the only person to witness us with the body prior to reanimation was, of course, West's landlord, Francis Mulligan, and his wife Lilly, who were now also dead. The shots fired by the police would prove not to be fatal, and the creature was taken to Sephram Asylum's medical wing, which would ultimately be where it would stay for a further 16 years. West and I were asked to come to the asylum to identify if in fact this beast was the same that accosted us at the boarding house, which we obliged for reasons both dutiful and, more acutely, scientific curiosity. Upon arriving, we were led through a labyrinth of corridors to its secured room. We could hear the moaning and wailing of patients, but one single sound cut through, the terrifying cackles of our reanimated subject.
Gentlemen, can you positively identify this person as the man who attacked you 2 nights ago?
Yes, I can. That most certainly is Dr. Alan J. Halsey.
Many men have related hideous things, not mentioned in print, which happened on the battlefields of the war. Some of these things have made me faint, others have convulsed me to devastating nausea. while still others have made me tremble and look behind me in the dark. Yet despite the worst of them, I believe I can myself relate the most hideous thing of all, the shocking, the unnatural, the unbelievable horror from the shadows. During the war, I served as a physician with the rank of first lieutenant. I had not entered the army of my own initiative, but rather as a natural result of the enlistment of the man whose indispensable assistant I was, the celebrated Boston surgical specialist, Dr. Herbert West. West had been avid for a chance to serve as a surgeon in the war, and when the chance came to him, he carried me with him almost against my will. There are reasons why I would have been glad to see the war separate us, reasons why I found the practice of medicine and the companionship of West more and more irritating. Of his methods in the intervening years between Arkham and the war, I dare not speak. I was held to him by sheer force of fear, and witnessed sights that no human tongue could repeat. Gradually, I came to find Herbert West himself more horrible than anything that he did. And to make matters worse, West had taken on a new research assistant, the very officer that helped West to his commission, Major Eric Moreland Clapham-Lee.
Major West, you have another package here from Brazil. I take it this is more supplies for our research.
Indeed it is, Eric. More tropical reptile embryos. Put them there on my desk. I'll need it soon to create more of the reagent. Come, Eric. Let me show you a specimen in progress.
Ah, gladly. I've been excited to see your progress since last we spoke. Dear God! It's moving of its own accord. It's simply amazing, West.
It's ghoulish. Private Joseph Gilman arrived only yesterday. The poor boy stepped on a landmine and we couldn't save him. Well, except his arm, of course. West took it upon himself to keep that part of him alive at least.
So you were actually successful, West. Successful in creating a version of the reagent for only keeping disembodied appendages alive. It's simply astonishing. Excellent work, West.
Yes, Eric. It's fascinating, really. The reptile embryo tissue is far more stable for maintaining life in organless fragments. I truly believe that the presence of the brain has absolutely no bearing on the life of these individual parts.
Fascinating indeed. Think of the possibilities, West. Think of an army that can never truly die. A man is shot one day, and the next, standing in the ranks again, ready to fight. Country with that kind of power would be unstoppable. An unending army of fighting men.
Yes, Eric. It would be something.
How long, West? How long until you believe we'll have an employable reagent to do just that?
It's impossible to say, Eric. As I've told you before, I cannot know when my research will be complete. There's so much more to learn and so many new heights to reach. What I will need is a completely intact subject minus its head to continue. I've been waiting for such a subject for some time. Once we're able to procure such a test subject, I'll know more.
I've kept my mouth shut for far too long. Now, I believe it's time that we end this accursed experiment. We've simply gone too far. Listening to you two ghouls is beyond the tolerance. It's as though humanity is the furthest thing from your minds.
The war has gotten to you. I do believe you're not of your right mind. I'm willing to forgive and forget your outburst this time. But I must ask, are we to worry of you?
No. Absolutely not, West. I'm fine. Forgive me.
I believe that West is a bit more forgiving than I am. When I return, I expect to see your head squarely back on your shoulders. We don't have time for this kind of nonsense.
Yes, my apologies, Eric.
Return? Are you going somewhere, Eric?
Unfortunately, I am, Major. I've been temporarily reassigned. The war effort is in need of a field surgeon elsewhere. I fly out in 3 hours with Lieutenant Hill, but they've promised I will be back within a matter of weeks.
Good luck to you, Major. We'll see you upon your return.
I am a prisoner. A prisoner of this war, and a prisoner of West and Major Clapham-Lee. It was bad enough to be bound to West in this way, but now Eric as well. Two butchers delighting in the slaughter and reanimation of any body part that they could get their morbid hands on. I thought I saw it all, but I was wrong. Today would be the day that would break my mind forever.
Major West! Major West! Wounded incoming!
Take me to them, Private.
Lieutenant Ronald Hill's plane was shot down coming in for a landing, sir. 4 men were on board. One of them was... It was...
Speak up, man. Who was it?
It was...
Oh, Eric.
Oh, God. His head. It's nearly severed completely from the body, West.
Yes, almost a perfect cut, too.
No, West, no. You can't be serious.
Why not? Eric wanted this research to continue more than anyone else. I dare say even more than yourself. Why shouldn't he wish to continue even in depth? Will quite possibly serve its purpose to our research even better now than before. Wheel his gurney into the lab. Okay, first we need to completely remove the head.
Oh, dear God, West, this is too much. Oh, it's nauseating.
There. Now, take the head to the dish in the corner table.
This is abominable.
I have some of the appendage reagent already prepared. Make sure that it sits upright with the entire neck immersed.
All right, it's there, West. What's next?
Now we can perform the true experiment. A completely intact body without the brain stem attached. I can finally prove without a doubt that full body reanimation is possible without a brain present. Take note, I am administering 64.5 cc's of reagent to the body of Major Eric Moreland Clapham-Lee. I shall administer the dose directly to the heart for more immediate reaction. And it is done. It's moving. It's worked. The body is alive. Do you see?
What is it doing, West?
I believe the body is remembering its last moments as the plane went down. This is simply wonderful. A complete success.
West, did you hear that?
What?
Listen.
Damn it, Hill. Jump!
Where is that coming from?
Jump, damn you! Jump!
Oh my God. It's coming from the head. After the war, I disassociated myself from West. His demonic research had my sanity at its end. For years, as a medical practitioner myself, I would often read of the esteemed and highly regarded Boston surgeon, Dr. Herbert West. But I would also from time to time read stories that would lead my mind back to those late nights with West. All the bodies. All the murders committed at the hands of those ghoulish things that we created in the name of scientific research. And it's apparent that it continues even today. It's been 18 long years since we first met in our third year of course at the Miskatonic University Medical School, and tonight I would see him again. But it would also be the last.
Sam, Dr. Book is on his way over here from the East Wing. He wants you and Parker to help him while he administers a sedative to patient 3258. Apparently, he's rather disturbed tonight.
Well, it is a full moon.
Great. Just what we needed. Never a dull moment working in an asylum.
You can say that again. Just wait here. He should be by in a few minutes. Good evening, gentlemen. Can I help? Oh my.
Dr. Alan J. Halsey. We must see him immediately.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, sir, but visiting hours are from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. You'll have to come back tomorrow afternoon.
We must see Dr. Alan J. Halsey immediately.
As I said, sir, it's quite impossible.
Very well. We will see to it ourselves then.
Hold it right there, buddy. Drop those keys and beat it before I...
Whoa! Parker, are you okay?
He's dead, Sam. Let's get those bastards.
I say, what's all this commotion?
Dr. Burke, Parker's dead. His neck is broken.
What happened here?
It was a group of them, Dr. Burke. They went that way. The leader, he was wearing a military uniform.
But his head, it wasn't human. It was more like a wax sculpture of a human head. He was carrying a wooden box. And when he spoke, I could swear the voice was coming from the box.
Dear God. We'll take care of this. You go to the office and lock the door behind you and keep yourself safe.
Attention, hospital staff. A group of unauthorized men have entered the building. Please avoid them at all costs. They are to be considered dangerous.
Sam, collect Murphy and Connors, and let's go after them.
Yes, sir.
Stop right there, buddy. Hey! Whoa!
There they are. Are you ready, men?
You there! You there, halt!
Oh God, no! Dear God, he's dead!
Dr. Burke, did you see that? He flew 20 feet. I've never seen such strength. What do we do?
Get back from him, Sam! Get back!
Dr. Alan J. Halsey.
This just in. A gang of unknown assailants accosted Sefton Asylum staff tonight, leaving 5 dead and 3 injured. During the fray, patient of 16 years, Dr. Alan Halsey, once distinguished and respected Dean of Miskatonic University Medical School, escaped and is at large. Hospital officials had this to say.
The 5 men entered the main entrance of the hospital earlier this evening and demanded entrance. When they were denied, they went on a rampage, assailing everyone they came in contact with. Our security team held them back as long as they could, but were overcome. By the time the Arkham police arrived, the men had gone and took Halsey with them.
Be on the lookout for 6 men being described as mudded, disheveled, and displaying numerous physical deformities. The ringleader wears a military uniform bearing the name Clapham-Lee.
Good evening, Herbert.
Well, it's been a long time. What brings you all the way out here after so many years? I thought you had had it with me and my ghoulish research, as you now refer to it.
Well, I just wanted to come and see you, West. Have you been following the news?
I can only imagine you're referring to the news of Dr. Halsey.
Indeed I am.
What of it? The man's done nothing but cackle and pound his head on the cell of his wall for 15 years now. Whatever mental capacity he once had is completely gone. He'll be apprehended once again if he hasn't been already.
Yes, I suppose you're right, but all the same, I wanted to come and see how you were doing.
Nonsense. It means nothing. Furthest thing from my mind. Here, let me pour you a drink. I can see clearly that it consumes you.
Thank you, Herbert. I certainly could use this.
You know, we were once a great team. You were a fine doctor, a great research assistant. It's a pity you didn't ultimately have the stomach for it. And please, let me show you what I've been working on. You'll simply be astounded. I took the reagent and I...
What is that? West, are you expecting someone?
No.
Don't answer it, Herbert. Don't answer it.
I won't. I'll peek through the curtain and see who it is.
Who is it, West? 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 Who is it?
Herbert West. Dr. Herbert West.
What is it, West? Answer me, West. Who is it? What is it? Out of the way. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. It's a mob. 2 dozen or more. West, what do we do? What do we do, West? What do we do? Answer me. They're breaking through the door, West. West.
I have a rifle there, over by the fireplace. Give it to me.
Oh, God. There's too many of them. Oh.
I'm out of bullets.
We have to go, West. Where do we go?
There, run to the basement with the furnace. We can barricade the door.
All right, West. We're here. We're in the basement. What's the plan?
I don't know.
West? West, they're coming through the door. What do we do, damn it?
I don't know.
The Legion poured into the basement and had us pinned against the blazing coal furnace. Bodies of the once dead surrounded us, their eyes staring blankly with only singular murderous purpose. It was an unbearable sight, shambling bodies caked with mud and blood, some missing arms, some minus eyes, and leading the charge, a creature clad in a military uniform, with the name patch reading Clapham-Lee, and to his right, the cackling, malformed Dr. Alan Halsey, both returning for revenge. The mob surrounded us, closing in.
Get back! Get away from me, you fiend!
No! Get back!
Stay away!
No! Please, no! I watched in horror as the mob sprang forward, seizing West, and began to rip him apart before my eyes, limbs being tossed in all directions. The last thing I remember, the green military uniform carrying the head of Dr. Herbert West, his cold blue eyes behind the spectacles, hideously blazing with the first touch of frantic visible emotion. Servants found me unconscious in the morning. West was gone. The blazing coal furnace contained only unidentifiable ashes. Detectives have questioned me, but what can I say? I told them of the Legion of the Dead, and they laughed. So I told them no more. They imply that I am a madman or a murderer. Probably I am mad, but I am free. Free from the inhuman, ghoulish devil, Dr. Herbert West.
It seems that poor Herbert West was a little overworked. He lost his head. You know what his tombstone reads. Rest in pieces. Well, Cabalists, it's time for me to slink back into my coffin and rest these dusty bones. Have a good night, and happy Halloween. I'll be seeing you in your nightmares.
The Secret Cabal presents Tales from Beyond the Grave. Herbert West, Reanimator, was based on the story written by H.P. Lovecraft and adapted for audio by Jamie Keagy. The part of Herbert West was played by Patrick Kelly of Blue Peg Pink Peg. Special thanks to Robb and Christina Rouse from Blue Peg Pink Peg. Find their podcast at bluepegpinkpeg.com. And Marty Connell and Tony McRee of Rolling Dice and Taking Names. Find them at rolldicetakenames.com. And Rodney Smith of Watch It Played. Find his video series at youtube.com/watchitplayed. And Chaz Marler of Pair of Dice Paradise. His YouTube channel can be found at youtube.com/pairofdiceparadise. And Joel Eddy of Drive Thru Review. Find him at drivethroughvideos.com. And Matt Evans of Board Game Replay. Watch his videos at youtube.com/boardgamereplay. And finally, the Lords of the Dungeon and the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast can be found at thesecretcabal.com. And above all else, thank you to every Cabalist out there for supporting the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. All of you make this content not only possible, but a pleasure to produce. Thank you from everyone here at the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast.